I stole my then best friend's wedding cake, day of the wedding. My 28F best friend, 31F, was supposed to have her wedding in mid-January. It was scheduled to be a very lavish wedding, the theme being blue because she did not want to have white on white with the snow. My best friend was being quite a bridezilla the days leading up to her wedding, and bridezilla is not quite the word for the day of. She was being a complete bitch, for lack of better words. My task, of course, was going to be something simple for someone who had done so much to help me. Her words: "This task was very much not simple." The drive to the bakery was 45-minute trip each way, and bride suggested I drive slowly to avoid the cake being messed up. So, I would have to take a separate route which would end up being around 1 hour 15 minutes on the trip back with the cake. I got up bright and early at 6 o'clock a.m., and began the trip shortly thereafter. By the time I got back to the venue with the hotels everyone was staying in, it was about 9 o'clock a.m. So, as I am unloading the cake, bride's mom started to look uneasy. I thought it was because it was freezing outside, but she called over my best friend, and she went absolutely berserk. Well, somehow, she failed to inform the cake decorator that she would like the cake to be a matching blue color as well. How does one forget to do this? She adamantly denied that she forgot to inform the decorator of the color, but this was only one of many other grievances from the bride that were her own fault, that she very much blew up at and did not acknowledge they were her fault. My best friend got all in my face and told me I needed to go back ASAP. I obliged. I made the trip back to the decorator and profusely apologized as I explained the situation. Apparently no big deal on a big wedding day for someone else and a slow day for cake decorator. I fast-timed with my friend the whole time so she could see how everything was going. She seemed very pleased over the phone and said it was perfect. I paid for the touch-up on the cake out of pocket and left. I got back to the venue at around 12 o'clock. My friend saw the cake being set up and immediately blew up once again. She accused me of swapping out the cake she had seen over call for a different, shittier version. She did not let me even get one more word in as she backed me into my car seat and made other people back the cake in the back. She told me to come back with the correct cake, or I would be cut from the wedding. I took my chances and just drove home. I put my phone on silent and ate the cake with my boyfriend and our families. Nobody knows the real story of why I had a wedding cake randomly on a Sunday night for dinner, except for my boyfriend. I do not feel guilty. I will update this later in the day when I get home from work. I posted this on a whim last night before bed. Thank you for everyone telling me I'm not crazy. We'll be back with the aftermath story. Update time. The ride home was good. She didn't realize I wasn't there until much later. BF and I like to call it the heist drive lol. About an hour and a half after I get home and tell BF the story, she starts texting and calling. Voicemails on voicemails of her threatening to call cops, send her family down to my house, which, I wasn't even staying at my house that week, so she wouldn't know my address. I ignored all of the calls because I thought it was humorous. BF and I giggled every time she called and left a new voicemail. Total count was 56. Though, halfway through, she resorted to telling me my dress was still there and that I'd missed the ceremony. Yeah? You mean the dress that was 2 sizes too small for me and yet still insisted I could power through the ceremony with? No shit, I didn't last through the morning. Also her pictures were royally messed up thanks to me. She had an ombre tilde copyright theme going with the bridesmaids in their pictures, lightest dresses on the outside and darkest on the inside. I was the maid of honor, so my dress was to be extravagant and matched well with brides. She told me that it would completely tie the pictures together beforehand, which I didn't really pay much attention to. Seeing the photos afterwards, she was right. They looked completely screwed up and off-center. It definitely pissed her off because she had that look I knew so well from our years of friendship in her pictures. She really had been a good friend up until a few months before the wedding, so I cut her some slack for acting irrationally because I also tend to act from an emotional place. However, I am just learning to stand up for myself and not take shit from people. So cutting her off was really easy when given such a good situation to do so. To those asking, yes, She did have to get a store-bought cake. It was a sheet cake that I can only assume came from Kroger or something because I saw one very similar the weeks after. I had a really great time eating the cake with both of our families, a bonding experience that is certainly one of my dearest memories. Something else ironic that I'd like to tell you guys is that the whole reason I posted this is because BF, Fiancé tilde copyright, proposed last night, completely reminded me of the situation, and I'd like to let you all know I will be much more considerate when my big day comes around.